Welcome to the show. If we haven't met yet, my name is Mitch Goldberg. I'm a financial advisor with the wealth management firm Client First Strategy. Another day of head spinning news. Last night, we get news that the International Court of Trade blocks President Trump's tariffs, almost all of the tariffs that he's put in place, reciprocal, just every tariff except for industry, sector tariffs like tariffs on aluminum or steel. But everything else, not only does it go away, but you can't even bring it back. It was a very hard and fast interpretation. But today, the Court of Appeals says, no, you can have the tariffs back on until we have time to decide what's in this and what's going on. So the Court of Appeals put a temporary stay on the halt from the International Court of Trade while they take some time to see what they're going to do. It may possibly go up to the Supreme Court as soon as tomorrow. This is this is unfolding as I'm speaking. So the market turned out not to be so great today anyway. We'll talk about why. And should crypto be in your 401k? Should there be a place in your 401k plan for crypto? It's a pretty big deal, and I think it changes, not changes, just it's the first time that there's a new asset class, if you want to call it that, in the retirement plan arena in like forever. So it's a pretty big sea change in terms of what you can and cannot do in 401k plans, and you know what rules and regulations have been rescinded by the Trump administration to rescind Biden era policies that would prevent you from putting crypto in your retirement plan. So we're going to talk about these things. We're going to roll a quick intro. And I'm just finding out that I'm not live on LinkedIn, which is like my main jam, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, now it's live on crypto. Okay. Anyway, if you're just joining me on LinkedIn, stick around. We're just getting into the show. All I did in the beginning was introduce the two topics we'll talk about, but now I'm going to talk about the two topics. So here's the intro, and here we go. All right. Let's talk about the tariffs first. This is an ever-changing policy. I think President Trump has been back in the presidency for I think today is like 128 days. And we've had over 100 policy announcements. If you want to add the big one from last night, the International Court of Trade, or the Court of International Trade. I never even heard of this court until last night, but they are specialists in trade, and it's like a whole different court system for that. And they said President Trump overreached. He is not properly applying the Emergency Powers Act that allows him to do what he did with the tariffs. So, tariffs are off, get rid of them. Very strict in the language, and saying basically that you, you know you have 10 days to rescind all the tariffs. I think even he has to give money back to the countries that have paid tariffs, and it really puts sand in the gears of President Trump's economic policies. He expected to have what he believed would be better trade deals for the United States, and the tariffs would would collect money and help offset the budget deficit, which would allow him to present bigger tax cuts or continued tax cuts. In other words, we had the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that said tax rates go down for 10 years from what they were before. After 10 years, meaning at the end of this year, at the end of 2025, the old tax rates revert. They said it was a 10-year deal, and then they revert. But now it's being presented as a tax increase even though it was originally agreed as a 10-year deal. They probably, I know why they went for a 10-year deal, to placate the hawks in the party, the Tea Party caucus, uh, but they're giving up on that too. So now we go back, to making those tax cuts permanent instead of the original agreement, which was always 10 years. We promised 10 years. We're going to agree to that, and the tax, rates are going to revert back to what they were, before the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was enacted. So 10 years later, they're saying, "Oh wait, this is a tax increase." No, we'll see. Um, it depends on which side of the aisle you look at. But this pullback of tariffs because of the international courts or international trade court, they said, forget the tariffs. The president misused and took too far the emergency powers that the president could have in imposing taxes, and there's a whole lot to it. You can read all about this on your own. I've been reading up on this a lot, and I don't want to just regurgitate it all. But today, an appeals court overturned that and said the tariffs stay in place. The International Trade Court said you've got 10 days. So the tariffs didn't go away today. They just had to go away over the next 10 days. But an appeals court said, we'll put a stay on that, leave them as is while we take a deeper look. So the Trump administration said they would go to the Supreme Court as soon as tomorrow, but they also said that they'll see what the appeals court says, so they might not even need to go to the Supreme Court. So we'll see. So futures popped last night. I remember the Dow futures are up like 500 points, all because of this. And if we get rid of the tariffs, it could be lower inflation. Maybe the Fed could cut, lowers the odds of a recession, improves company profits, more money for consumers to spend. A lot of good feeling about it. By the time we got to the open, the market was up a little bit. And as the day went on, the markets had a nothing day today, nothing to write home about, especially given the magnitude of the news. S&P was up a drop. I didn't actually check what the other average. Believe it or not, folks, I don't like stare at the stock market all day long. Oh, so the Dow was up 117 points, up 0.28%. S&P up 0.4%. NASDAQ up 0.3%. And the Russell 2000, which is up over 3% last night, which was doing the best in the pre-market last night, is only up 0.34% today. Really, just a kind of a not a bad day, but just a very ho-hum day. So why did the goodwill wear off? Well, it creates more confusion than a solution. Now, I think investors were just starting to get used to President Trump's tough talk on tariffs, and then he walks it back, and then he does it again against another trading bloc and walks it back, first against China, then the European Union. But then he backs off quickly because he's trying to negotiate a deal. Or some people say taco, which means Trump always chickens out. I don't know. I don't really see it that way. I think he puts a big fat tariff, scares the what out of our trading counterparts, and says, I'm really serious. I'm willing to negotiate, and we have to get our better deals, better trade agreements that could benefit the United States, because he feels that the United States has suffered because so much production, manufacturing has gone overseas. There's a lot of reasons why manufacturing we're still a big manufacturing economy, by the way, just it's not like it used to be. But, it's cheaper to make things overseas. People get paid a lot less. It just costs a lot less to build things overseas, less regulation. It's cheaper to operate overseas. The quality of products that is built overseas is pretty good. When I was a kid, everything was made in Japan, and it meant junk. And then as I got older, really good cars came from Japan, and then products that are made in Japan, from cameras to cars to guitars, were really good if they were made in Japan. Then eventually South Korea came around. That's another good place to make stuff. But China then became like the place where you built junk, and now that stuff has gotten good. All right, so I digress. But I think the other reason manufacturing has changed, the manufacturing jobs have changed, is because of technology. And it's more from technology than sending production overseas. Plus, and the reason we have deficits, trade deficits, is because we're a rich country, so we manufacture for less in other places, and we buy that stuff. We pay less for stuff. It does change the market. It changes the economy, the jobs landscape. So there's winners and losers in this, and the losers created a very big. The losers created a very big voting bloc, in particular, manufacturing towns, manufacturing counties, states, red states, if you want to be more political about it. And people just don't see how globalization has made them richer. You could say the world is richer, the United States is richer because of globalization. Yeah, but the wealth is concentrated with much fewer people benefiting and much more people going backwards in life. And people are sick of it. If that doesn't explain everything about economics and politics in the United States, then I really don't know what does. But we know it does explain it. So, having said that, um, we'll see what the next policies are. I'm not really sure what the solution is. Biden tried to fix manufacturing or improve manufacturing here by what he said, creating the jobs of the future with high tech and renewable energy, robotics, AI, that sort of thing. And he came out with the Inflation Reduction Act and the CHIPS Act, and that was based on tax incentives. Trump wants to reverse that. He still wants to get to the same place, by the way, but he wants to do it differently, and he believes the use of tariffs will be a better place for that. I can't really tell you which one is going to be better. I think they're both lousy solutions to an intractable problem, and I just don't know which one is going to be better. But I guess it really depends on which part of the country that you live in will determine which one which one you think could be better. And that's where we are. So we will see how the tariffs unfold. We'll see what happens. I did not have any clue. I don't think anyone did that the International Trade Court would make this reversal. Today was again reversed by an appeals court. But my thing a couple of days ago is we've got three big numbers to look at. The first one would be the first one would be May 28th, and that was the NVIDIA numbers. They came out strong, and the stock had a nice pop today. Business is up after the close today. Let's just put you on the screen here. Let me pop myself up here. If you look at this, just look at this here. Dell was up NVIDIA was up $4, a little over $4, up 3.25%. But after market, Dell came out with numbers, and that's up a little over 2%, up $2.67 today, because they came out with pretty good numbers based on their expectations of artificial intelligence. So the AI trade remains strong. NVIDIA confirmed that. Dell backed it up. So we have a pretty strong continuation of the artificial intelligence trade, and analysts are coming around and upgrading their price targets and stocks like NVIDIA. I saw one target today, like over $170 a share. Again, that's a price target, not a promise. I still don't know where analysts come up with these price targets. I just think if you like the stock, you should own it. If you don't like the stock, don't own it. I wouldn't go into these things with an arbitrary limit on how high they could go. So that's one thing. But another big topic that I think is not getting a lot of attention. I'm not. My screen is freezing. Okay, I'll put myself over here. Let's see. No, okay. Sometimes I want to show you my other screen here. I wonder if I could do it this way. Share screen. I wonder what screen it's going to allow me to show. Let's see if it allows me to do that. All right. Oh, look at that. Okay, it worked. Okay. This is another way to get around the technology of sharing a screen. But Trump administration axes Biden era barrier for crypto and 401k plans. How do you like that? What do you think of that? Now, I could go in a couple of directions with this. Let me stop the sharing of the screen. Okay. I could go in a couple of different directions. President Trump and his two adult age sons are very big into crypto. The sons of a big crypto business, and they're just all about crypto these days. That's what they do. It's just crypto, crypto, crypto. President Trump had a dinner for large investors in his crypto. There's something people say that money actually goes directly to him, and it's almost like a political contribution, and he'll have that money. I, this show is not really about politics, but I don't think I could talk about the market without getting into that stuff. Maybe it's just a good thing. Just Trump's an entrepreneur. I know people say he's had a lot of failures, but Babe Ruth is the home run king. He's also the strikeout king. You got to take a lot of swings to hit home runs. So, I say fail fast, succeed faster. Well, so we'll see. But so a lot of people say that Trump is really not lax, or he really wants to push crypto into 401ks because it provides a whole new source of funds for the crypto market. And the more money that goes into crypto, the more it benefits people who own crypto, which is the president. So people say that it's not right to push a policy that even brings up the appearance of self-serving, right? So, but nevertheless, Trump administration axes Biden era barrier for crypto in the 401ks. What do you think of that? Do you think it's a good idea putting crypto in your 401k? I have my views on crypto, and I've been on many times saying that I don't understand it. I've been writing about it and talking about it for 10 years now. And I'll be talking about it for the rest of my life. It doesn't mean I understand it. Now, I know it's gone up, and I'm planning a little bit of a debate with two fellas that are in the crypto business and the mining business. We just have to pin down a time, and hopefully they still want to do it. I would imagine that they would say, well, crypto is up and it's going higher and hitting new highs, in particular Bitcoin. So it must be good because it's going up. And my sense is that the fact that you're using a rising price to justify that it's legit is like the most dangerous thing you could do. I remember lots of investments that kept going up, and the more they went up, the more people justified that, or the more it validated to people that they were right, that there's something there. I just, it could be a bubble. It could not. Maybe Bitcoin will be the ultimate crypto of the future. Maybe there's a crypto that will really take over the market that hasn't even been invented yet. So we shall say. My feeling on crypto in a 401k plan is buyer beware, but free choice. I believe in free will. If you have the opportunity to buy some crypto in your 401k and you see everybody else is buying it, and more power to you. And this is, putting 401k money into cryptos is a lot more buying power into 401k. If you have more buying power, typically prices of those things you're buying go up, or that others are buying go up. If that's for you, that's for you. I believe in free will, and people should be allowed to do what they want in terms of what they invested. So more power to you if that's for you. And if it's not for you, that's okay too. There's lots and lots of 401k millionaires who've done well without ever having to invest in crypto. I don't know if crypto is going to be the big thing or not, but like I said, more power to you. If it's something you want to do, I think you should have the choice. I want everyone to have that choice. Doesn't mean I'm going to take that choice. It doesn't mean you have to take that choice, but I think it's a good thing to have the choice, and buyer beware. If you accept the risk, then you accept the risk. If it goes up, congratulations. If it goes down, well, that's on you also. That's my thought, and hope you found this helpful. If you don't mind, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments, and I'll be around. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me directly as well. Thank you very much for watching.